Good day, folks. We're glad to have you viewing in on Lake TV. My name is Mike Courier, and I have one of the delightful jobs of getting to know and interview lots of fascinating people here at Lake of the Ozarks, because our goal is to show you and let you learn about things about why this is such a wonderful place to live and raise a family, and a great place to visit as well. Today, I have a new friend, Ron Estep. Ron, glad to have you here.
Glad to be
Ron
here.
is the director of the Helping Hands homeless shelter. It's on Camdenton, on Highway 52, on the west side of the highway, out past the Methodist Church there, on the south side of the road. So it's a place that people know is there, but they don't know what it does. And so Ron's here today to tell us about it. Ron, you've been here for a while. Tell us about Ron Estep, who he really is, and what you've been doing and how you got here.
Oh, that's a big question there. I don't know if I want to go that far into it.
We'll start where you want to.
Well, I moved to the Lake of the Ozarks in 1986 and just moved here for business. I belonged to a company. I worked for a company that had opened a branch here in the lake, and they moved me up here, transferred me here to manage a store. Got involved with the homeless shelter back in 1998. Wow. And so I've been with them for quite a while. I was the treasurer, I am the treasurer, and I'm now the executive director. The homeless shelter has been around since 1990. It's on West 54.
Oh, 54. I said 52.
You said 52.
I'm from Versailles.
Yeah, yeah. And it's on 68 Holden Drive is the actual physical address. We've got our own little street. It's just a gravel driveway is all it is.
Up on a hill?
Up on a hill. As you're going west on Highway 54, out of Camdenton, going towards Max Creek. It's on the left-hand side. It's 1.1 miles from the light in Camdenton. And it's a white building with a red metal roof. You can't miss it when you're going down that road. Just look to the left.
What are some of the things that you do there?
Oh, we do all kinds of crazy stuff there. It's amazing what we do. The mission of the homeless shelter is to, we provide temporary emergency shelter and transitional housing for men, women, children, and families. We try to address the root cause of the problem so that we can end the cycle of poverty. What we've come to understand over the years is that homelessness is a symptom of a greater problem in most cases. Usually there's a cause for the homelessness, and then, if you treat just the symptom, give a person a place to sleep for the night, we've solved the problem. No, you haven't. You have to address the root cause of the problem. So one of the things we do when folks come in is we do a pre-intake interview, and we do a personal needs assessment. And people always, they kind of grumble at that. Oh, what are you asking me so many questions for? And I say, because we're a homeless shelter, and we can ask dumb questions, and we do ask a lot of dumb questions. Right. So we have to know where they're at, what their situation is, and what it's going to take to help them get past this place in their life that's found them to be homeless. So that's the first part. And then we try to help them. A lot of things we do. One of the things that is a requirement of staying at the homeless shelter is that our residents are required to get a job. If they're able to work, they must get a job. How hard is that? You help them, I'm sure. We help them. We work very closely with one of the local employment agencies, or both of the local employment agencies, PenMec and Manpower. We require them to register with them. And if there's a job available, they have to take the job or find a job on their own. And once they get a job, we require them to save their money. They have to put 75% of their income into the client account. We found that for some folks, if we don't require them to save money, we could let them stay for 6 months and they'd have no savings and have no ability to leave. So that's one of the requirements that they have to do. We want to be very practical about it and helping people get back on their feet. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. As previous president of the Lake West Ministerial Alliance, mm-hmm. I had someone call me just 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. They were new to the area. They were living out of their van, looking for a job. They wanted mm-hmm. the Ministerial Alliance to provide money for them to lease an apartment. And mm-hmm. of course, they don't do that. So I directed them to you. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they ever came there. Of course, no names were exchanged. But you were the first place I thought of for this family, mm-hmm. An older couple. Mm-hmm. And they just were destitute. And you take care of a lot of needs that you're God's avenue to help people that might not get it if they went someplace else. Mm-hmm. So are you a religious center of any kind, or what do you do for people in that regard?
Well, we have latitude on that issue or that area.
You don't compel them to
We don't
go
compel
to church.
them. Yeah, there's a lot of things going through my head here. We don't compel them to go to church, but we do require them to seek some type of classes, go to classes. If somebody's ever had a problem with drugs or alcohol, we require them to go to NA or a faith-based recovery program. But my mind's going 100 miles an hour.
You do provide relief, and you do provide a new direction and a new hope for people that they couldn't get on their own. And so
correct.
It's very good in that aspect. About how many people visit you over a month's period of time?
Generally, we have anywhere from 35 to 55 people.
Wow, that's more than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
I heard you yesterday a quote of 700 and some
bed nights.
Bed nights. That's how you rate it?
One of the measures that we use as to what we're doing is we count bed nights, and a bed night is one person in one bed for one night. So. And
what's your capacity? How many can you hold at one time?
We have 39 beds right now.
39.
39 beds.
Okay. Is there an average stay that most people have, or?
No, we don't have an average stay. What we do is we have a goal-setting process that we go through with folks. We have them set goals. We have them look at the roadblocks that they have to their success. And as long as somebody is working towards their goals and they're progressing towards their goals, we allow them to stay.
That's a good measure.
Yeah, some people come with a lot of you could say baggage or a lot of hindrance to their success. So it takes a while for them to work through that. Ladies with children, single mothers with children, a lot of their income goes to child care, so it takes a lot longer for them to save up money to be able to get out back on their own.
Yeah. So you have children that actually go to school from there, too?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. The bus picks them up right down the street, right down at the bottom of the hill.
Now, you, this costs money to run and provide the food and utilities and your sustenance as well. Where does that money come from?
Most of our support comes from local churches. We do get some local businesses that support us. A lot of the civic groups, the Rotary Club, the Kiwanis Club, Lions Club, all of those local groups support us, or most of those local groups support us. The thing about the Camdenton and Lake of the Ozarks area is we have a lot of charitable functions here. I've had people say that there's so much help for people here that wasn't in their community when they moved here. They say, you guys got so much stuff, but it's all because of the support of the community. We have a terrific community that comes together and supports each other and helps each other, and they've been fantastic to us over the years.
Now you have a resale shop too that supports some of that, and people who are always looking for a good bargain at a resale shop or someplace to donate their unused materials.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Our resale shop is at 1091 Old South Highway 5. It's 1 mile south on Old Highway 5 from the bypass. It's right at the intersection of Highway 7 going towards Richland. We're just before the airport. We're open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 9 to 4.
And what kinds of products do you have there?
We've got just an unbelievable spectrum of products. Anything you could imagine.
Clothing, food, furniture,
appliances, anything. I like to tell people, they ask us, well, what do you guys accept as donations? And I says, if it's anything that you have in your home that you could use, then our folks in our home can use it also.
So they can donate about everything as long as you don't have to feed it.
As long as, we can't take any. Well, we've never had anybody offer any live animals.
Well, I'm glad that you provide that service there, and it helps people in both ways.
Yes, it does.
People can go there to buy things that might not have a lot of money to shop at the big stores. People can donate, and I'm sure they take advantage of that Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay.
9 to 4.
9 to 4. Well, I encourage people to go there.
Yeah, we're just down the street from the Habitat store, which they're open also.
Well, that's good too.
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday.
I see.
From 9 to 1.
People need to know where these places are so that they can provide donation source, place to do that.
Yes.
And you got something else coming up, I heard.
Well, right now we're looking into opening a flea market at the other building there on the property. We're going to call it the Village Flea Market, and that came out of that because this is such a supportive community. It takes a community to support the homeless shelter and all of those charities that are here at the lake. And a community is a village is like a community, so we want to call it the Village Flea Market, and the whole complex there to be the village. There's a lot of property there, and there are a lot of things that we can do with that if we have the support, if we can get the people to come alongside us and work with us on that. We've got a garage there that we could help people low-income people with their car maintenance. We've got the building there that we can sell more additional items that we can't sell in the thrift store because we don't have space.
So vendors or artisans or somebody can come who wants to have a little booth.
Have a little booth, right.
And operate a small business there themselves and sell things.
Yep. So, and part of that would draw more people to the thrift store and to that area and make more people aware of what we're trying to do to help people in the community.
Well, that's just another benefit you're providing to the community because the community inputs into you in so many good ways.
Yes.
Now you've been there for quite a while. How have things changed over the last 5 years in terms of serving that population? And in the next 5 years, what improvements would you like to see?
Well, that's a good question.
How's it changed in the last 5 years?
Well, one of the changes is that we used to qualify for some federal grants. We used to get upwards or up to $16,000 a year in federal grants, and the thrift store is part of the reason for that, because Camden County was declared a non-poverty county, and those grants are not available to us anymore as a homeless shelter. So we had to come up with some other way to support ourselves and continue the operation. So the thrift store was one of the reasons, or one of the avenues that we had with that, because we feel like it's something that the community will support, and they have. Just to be able to do more for folks, to help them up, give them a hand up and not a handout.
That's an important concept.
Yes, it is. They say you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. You give a man to fish, he'll eat for a day.
So you want to have a lot of rods and reels there? And
a lot of rods and reels. Yes, yes.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Anything else that the homeless shelter is working on, or projects? Do you have fundraising projects through the year, or anything coming up?
We do have fundraising projects. It's amazing to me, and I don't understand it. And maybe it's my fault, but we have difficulty with volunteers, getting volunteers to support the homeless shelter. And one of the things, I had a gentleman who supports us, and his church supports us, and when I was asking for volunteers at his men's group, he come up to me later and says, well, why don't you get those homeless people to work out at your thrift store? Well, says they absolutely do. But because we require them to get a job, most jobs are daytime jobs. They work during the day when the thrift store is open. So we get a guy comes in, he goes out to the thrift store, he works a few days, he gets a job, and he's gone. We don't have him available anymore. So and that brings up another thing too, is a lot of people. So
you could use somebody for 2 hours a day?
2 hours a day, absolutely.
2 days a week, maybe?
Yes. We've got a couple of folks from our church that come out on Tuesdays, and they're there for just a couple of hours. They put some stuff up on the shelf. They might dust a shelf. Just whatever it is that we need, they're willing to do and help us out. And that's a tremendous help to us, because right now myself and my wife and one other person that's a Vista for us are running the thrift store, and it's taken a lot of time. It's very, it's
so with all this product coming in, you need people to sort, select, and freshen up a little bit to put on the shelf for resale.
One of the other thrift store directors told me, he says one of the reasons they get volunteers at their thrift stores is because the volunteers get to select the first items. They get the first pick of the good stuff.
That's a perk, isn't it?
It is a perk.
Right. Well, folks, I really think that the more you know about the good things that are going on in your area here at the Lake of the Ozarks, and the opportunities that you have to make this a better place to live for folks that need that hand up instead of a handout. I believe that's a wonderful concept that many of us would rather participate in. I remember, Ron, I don't play Santa Claus, I become Santa Claus right after Thanksgiving, and I had a night at your center 3 or 4 years ago. It was one of my first ones here when I moved to the lake, and it was such a delight and a good feeling to know that so many wonderful things are happening to people that deserve it. So if you would like to have yourself or somebody in your organization come here and talk about the good things that you're doing for Lake of the Ozarks, please have them get in touch with us here at Lake TV. My name is Mike Currier, and Ron, I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for coming, and thanks for viewing, and we'll see you again. Good day.